Invasive species. What are they? Well, they are plants or animals or microorganisms that have come to a new location where they haven't been before, and they find an opportunity to explode into the environment and take over the habitat of other plants and animals, or kill off other plants and animals, such as disease or insects that kill trees. And today I'm going to just take a quick look at one that's a lot of people are familiar with, and that is garlic mustard, something that comes out every May, and there's more and more of it all the time. And garlic mustard comes from Europe and Asia, and it was probably brought here either as a food or medicinal plant, I think back in the 1800s on Long Island, 1860 sometime, and at least that's what is believed. And it has spread into our forests and become a major pest. And it's one of the few invasive plants, wild herbaceous plants, that can invade on the forest floor and doesn't need a lot of sunlight, and can actually cover up the habitat of a lot of other native plants like wildflowers, spring wildflowers, woodland wildflowers, of course things like trillium and that we know, and many others. And it changes the ecology. One of the things that garlic mustard is believed to do, there still needs to be a lot of research on it, is that it is said to be allelopathic. That is, it gives off chemicals that suppress the growth of other plants. And it can change the soil, and it can change the perhaps the microorganisms in the soil, the fungi and so forth, and change the habitat for insects and amphibians and other native species that are already there. So garlic mustard is difficult to get rid of. Seems the most effective way to rid ourselves of garlic mustard. Well, we can't really yet. But in local situations, we can slow down its spread or stop its spread by hand picking. Seems to be the best way to remove it. And so in areas that are important, like parks or areas that have rare species in them, or just areas we don't want taken over by this weed, people can go out in the spring and pick the plant and pull it up. You pull it up with, try to get as much as the root you can, otherwise the plant might grow back. It's has a 2-year cycle. It starts out with this basal rosette, and then the next year it grows up to full flower and produces seeds during May. And then the above ground portion of the plant dies, and the seed pods ripen, and the seeds are then distributed. And so one plant can make many seeds. So I have sort of policed some areas near my home for a number of years, and I pick as much of it as I reasonably can, and it seemed to be keeping it from getting too out of control. Once garlic mustard is a great big patch, it's really not worth the trouble to try to pick it all out of that one area, unless that area is very important to you. But rather to look for the places where it's spreading, where there's an outlying plant that you can go pick up and kept it from seeding into a new area and spreading into a new area and creating a new central area of distribution of that weed. So it's a plant. You can look it up on the internet, get good pictures of it. There's lots of articles about it and so forth. You can go on the New York Invasive Species website that's run by Cooperative Extension and Cornell and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. They all have good resources to show you what the plant looks like and a lot about it. So it's just one of many invasive species that are affecting our native ecosystems, our forests and our waters and fields and so forth, and a particularly aggressive one. So if you got garlic mustard around you, learn to recognize it and see if you can control it a little bit.